at Airbnb, it has some of the lowest turnover in the industry. And from what we've learned, that your team also has some of the lowest turnover within the company that has some of the lowest turnover in the industry. So in a lot of ways, like we're trying to speak to a lot of anxiety around people retaining people on their team right now. The great resignation is top of mind for a lot of folks, and I think especially in our industry, there's a lot of churn and motion and movement between teams. And so to not only create a place of belonging, but also to create a space where you're willing to be a huge ally for somebody's career journey. And the impact then here, what we're looking at is the, I guess, the output of retention. And so one of the questions that I have, like to bring this down to maybe like a specific instance, is there like a story that comes to mind from where you had a career conversation with somebody and it changed their trajectory within Airbnb, where that was the thing that maybe made the difference between them staying at Airbnb and continuing to contribute and create a greater sense of belonging, or moving on to another company?
Yeah, I mentor and coach as many people as my schedule will allow, and I happen to be fortunate enough to be the sponsor for diversity and belonging for all of technology. And in that role, I also am very active in our Black at Airfinity group. We call them Airfinity groups, but they're groups that get together and build community. And as a part of that, we have a sponsorship program with our Black at Affinity group. And I was matched up with a particular leader who was going through this sponsorship program. And literally in the career conversation I had with them, they were at a difficult point in their career. They were at a crossroads. They were feeling very dejected, feeling like there wasn't an opportunity for them at Airbnb, and struggling between a choice in their career where they might want to leave the comfort of the function they were in. This particular individual was in our recruiting team. And through the journey of the career conversations, this person now, if I fast forward, is in a newly created role as a very senior program manager in a completely different part of the company, has since been promoted, and is now here staying at Airbnb. And it was a really difficult moment, and I could tell that person was thinking about leaving. And to me, that one story really embodies what I've seen across all of Airbnb and what I've seen in my own organization. When people are feeling either lonely or isolated or not sure what point in their career they want to make a move, or they're not feeling fulfilled in their current role, you've got to create that environment where you reach out in a very hands-on way. And that story I told about that one individual has been replicated thousands of times, like literally. And I believe that is what we are doing in our culture that is unique and different, focusing in on individuals and making sure they are feeling recognized and heard and invested in. And that was a very pivotal moment in that individual's career. So I really do believe that can scale, right? If everyone in the company had a development mindset and was able to have the courage to have that tough conversation about what's not working today, what would be working better, how do I help you, how do I fulfill, how do I sponsor you, how do I give you access to my network, that sponsorship voice is very important. So I'm just very proud of that person in particular through our Black At sponsorship program is now thriving.
That's great. The big question I have is around scaling, because I'm in some of our peer groups. There is this narrative sometimes that we get exposed to of, I wanna talk and have a developmental conversation with my team and be an advocate for their career, but then there's like this kind of undertone of, how do I balance their career growth with business goals or team goals, and like that tension. And I was wondering if you had any insights around how that concern plays with how to help cultivate more of a development mindset, or a more of a development oriented culture. What would you say to somebody who maybe has that, who like that's the concern that comes up for them?
I believe that they're not mutually exclusive, right? You have to focus on your career. And I believe if you focus people on their passions, their energy, if they feel seen and heard and have a voice in their own career, then they are going to be more successful in whatever role they are in. And we measure business output and metrics extremely rigorously. We are a very data driven company and a very data driven organization. But we see that they can coexist when you have people really excited about what they're doing and have a voice that is different and unique. The business results really come. And we do a lot of transparency at what are our key metrics and how do we distill that down to everybody's individual roles that they play. So I really think it's a combination of this duality. We have to have the right operating rhythms, measure the things that are most important, and be maniacally focused on those things. Part of this battle that I see in our organization and around the world on a constant basis is we try to do too many things. And what we try to instill in our organization is do the critical few things and do them extremely well. So, through that prioritization process and through this aligning people to where they're uniquely interested and skilled, we have this balance. And if we see some business results by chance not meeting our expectations and we're not delivering and executing, then we reprioritize. We're maniacal about drilling into root cause. What is off here? And we've just built this culture where those two things are in constant balance and harmony. And if those things are at odds, I think that's a sign of deeper dysfunction rooted in the organization. I think that's how we've kind of reached this duality in the role I'm in today, and what I've always strived for, not always successfully, in other roles and other companies.